So today we're going to be stripping some wire, and I'm going to be showing you how to do that. Pretty much what you'll need, where you can get the wire, why you would want to do something like that. I've had many different jobs in the past, probably too many for my age, or for any human being to have. So I've had like a wee bit of experience in a lot of different things, and a master of none. So anyway, yeah, not even close to being a master at anything. So anyway, just to get started, one of the jobs that I did have for a little bit of time was was working as a salvager. And pretty much what that means is, the laws are different for each state, and I think they can also differ from city to city. But basically, where I was living with a group of people that did this, and pretty much like a small fleet of really old, beat-up vehicles just for this sole purpose. So I didn't even really have to use my vehicle or my gas, and they needed some extra help one day, and I wasn't working at my other job or jobs, whatever I had at the time. So I said, yeah, sure, why not? I'll tag along, help you guys out. I don't really know anything about it, but, give it a shot. So that's what I did, and we pretty much went around all day. In the area that we were in was very rural, and there was a lot of old farmland with really old, beaten down, overgrown structures sitting on the land that nobody was using anymore. Obviously, somebody owns it. Somebody still owns the land. I mean, somebody always owns it, whether it's the government or it's privately owned or whatever. So we went around basically cutting tin off roofs and grabbing scrap metal and loading these trucks and cars up and making multiple trips to the dump, which was pretty close by where we lived, which I didn't realize at the time until I started working with them, how close it was. And you would go there and weigh on the scale, and they would pay you out. They would take the stuff that you had and they would pay you out. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this, pretty common knowledge, but different kinds of metal is worth different amounts. You have like tin and copper and aluminum and steel, all of them. So, and they give you a certain amount for each one. Generally speaking, copper is, whatever area you are in, copper is most likely going to be the best metal that you can get your hands on. It's going to pay the most at the smallest weight. Okay? If that makes any sense. So, anyway, that was the thing I decided to hang on to from this experience that I had with these salvagers, was gathering copper. I did try to do aluminum for a while, but it's not worth it. It really isn't. The best way to get the largest amount of copper is through wiring. Wiring in the house, or in homes and structures, it's all throughout the house. But first, let me just get into what you're going to need in order to do your copper wire stripping. I've already shown you the tools, but just to go over it one more time, and a little more information on it. What you're going to need is a place to get the wire. And really I can only give two options because I don't know the salvaging laws in the area where you are. Let's just say, for the sake of this video, if it's not your property, don't take wire or anything else from it, because I don't want anyone to get in trouble. So option one is electrician contractors. A lot of times I've noticed that they just throw out a lot of the wire that they snip off, and that they don't use excess wire instead of keeping it themselves. Unless it's like a big roll of it, they'll usually keep that. But a lot of times they just get rid of it. I don't know if this is just so many years in the trade, they're just sick of collecting it at this point. Most likely, I'm guessing that's probably it. Or they don't realize they're getting rid of so much. Anyway, you can talk to them, and if they are throwing it out and they allow you to take it, keyword allow, then you can take it that way. Option 2 is a house that's being demoed, like scheduled for demoed. Of course, you shouldn't be in the house while it's being demoed. That would be dangerous. But if the house is scheduled for demoed, and it's either your property or the property owner gives you permission to go in and take the wire because they're not going to take it or do anything with it, then you can go ahead and do it that way. Other than that, I mean, I'm sure there's ways of getting contracts from local governments to do salvaging work. I'm just not sure the details on that, so I can't really recommend anything like that. Since I already showed you the basic tools and materials that you're going to need in order to get the wire out, I thought I'd just jump right into pulling out the wire. Step 1, and this is probably the most important step, is confirm that the electric is off in the house, in the whole house. I would recommend going directly to the electrical company because, let's face it, the world does not have your best interest, and you know, it's not really their fault if you electrocute yourself to death. That was a little dark. Sorry about that. But, you know, it's the way it is. Better safe than sorry, you know. Look at it as a positive thing. Positive standpoint. Safety first. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. So, once you do that, then your next step is a kind of double check. Go to the breaker box. Turn all the switches in the breaker box to off. Then turn the main switch to off. And double check. Just go down the line. Make sure every single one of those things says off, not on. This is just an extra precaution because you never know. In addition to that, you want to be wearing gloves this whole time. Okay, so the gloves that you're going to want, you don't just want any kind of gloves like canvas gloves or latex. To be more specific, you're going to want to wear gloves with rubber sole. Is it a sole? Rubber sole palm thing. And they also make other kinds of gloves. I believe they're made for masonry work, but they're gloves that are kind of dipped in rubber, so it's like even more coverage, like the rubber comes back and over your fingers. So, you know, that's just an extra precaution. I can show you the ones I use. I have these, and then I have another pair that are a little more thick for colder weather, and if I've been at it for a long time and my hands are just really getting sore and blistered or whatever, they're a little thicker, more padding. In addition to your gloves, you also want to make sure that your tools have rubber grips. Just as another extra precaution, just another line of barrier between you and electricity. You'll notice that this one doesn't have a rubber grip. That's because you're not going to be getting anywhere near the wire with it. Also, it's flat on both sides, so even if you were to get near the wire, it's not going to puncture through the wire. This one, you're going to be using mainly this side of this hammer. So if you were to, you know, dig into the wall or into the outlet and come down on the wire and split it, you have the rubber grip on there. And of course, you guys are going to be wearing your gloves too, right? Yeah. So these are two of your main tools that you're going to use. I would say your snips. I'm not sure what they're really called because I've had them for so long. I don't even know what the packaging would say in the store. But anyway, they're really sharp and they're just the best thing that I've found. These two, like your secondary tools. You have them. This one, I mean, if you have to use it to snip, you can. It's just a lot more difficult because you got to get it all the way to the back here. But primarily what I use this for is getting, like if you have wire that's in a wall and like back toward a stud or whatever, you can push this in there, get a hold of the wire, and yank it out. It gives you it'll give you like some momentum and a really strong grip on it. And then this one, you'll notice as you're going through the house, pulling out all the wire and snipping it, that some wire is thicker. It has thicker, tougher sleeve in some cases, or it has thicker strips of wire inside of it. And I kind of use this. This can also be used to get a good grip on something that's out of your reach and pull it out. And if you'll notice, it's a little bit longer than this one. But what I really use it for is for those pieces of wire that are thicker for whatever reason. This one isn't very sharp, but I kind of get it on there and just clamp it all the way down, and it kind of makes a dent all the way across the wire. Then you can take your snips, you can get them, along that crease and make multiple cuts if need be. If you're not able to get through it with one cut, it's just a little too tough. And now we're going to be getting into the actual stripping process. Okay, so I said we were going to get into the stripping process, but first you really need to know how to get that wire out. So this is what we're going to need. And this, and this, and if you have them sitting around, these would be great as well. If not, you don't necessarily need them. But first things first, and that is safety. You want to get your gloves on. You're going to start with this. Just as an example, you're going to want to take your hammer, and you're going to want to hit approximately right here. You're going to want to bring it down right to here. And this is after you have made absolute 100% sure that the power is off. Okay, so you hit in there, and then you're going to kind of jerk it out, and then you're going to slip it up under here if you can, and pull it out again. If you can't quite get up under there, bring it down again and pull, or to the sides and pull, and then you should be able to get up under there and pull it the rest of the way out until it's out of the wall, and then you can pull it. You can go through with a screwdriver and unscrew all of these. This is just a quicker method. That outlet is right there, so I don't have to go back downstairs. So let's say we got it pulled out and it's kind of hanging. What you're going to want to do is kind of trace that wire into the wall and find out which way it's going, whether it's up or down or to the side. Most likely, if you got your outlet here, it's going to be going up or down. One's lower to the ground, like the outlets for plugging into. They're going to usually be going from side to side and through studs. But that's why before you start any of this process, you want to cut it. You want to cut all of the wires away from the breaker box. That way, at least they're not attached there. They could be going through holes cut in studs, and in addition, they could be stapled to some studs, and you're going to have to go through and pull those staples out in order to get them loose, and that can be a pain. But once you use your claw hammer to get the outlet pulled out of the wall, like I said, you're going to want to trace and find where your wire is going, whether it's up or down or side to side, and you're going to want to take this hammer and you're going to want to just go through and punch through the wall in that direction where the wire is going. You can also use your claw hammer once you punch the drywall in. The claw hammer is good for pulling chunks of drywall out that doesn't want to fall. You make your path with your hammers in the drywall. That's when it's helpful to have these tools. But for getting a hold of the wire and pulling it out the rest of the way. But like I said, you don't necessarily need them. Okay, so once you have your wire exposed, you're going to want this. Like I said, this and your hammers are your primary tools. You're going to want to take hold of that box and snip your wires away from it. You're going to want to go to the furthest point of the path that you have taken the hammer to and just give it, another little tug to see if you can get that wire out anymore. But don't kill yourself. I've heard of people really just pulling the wires completely out, like the full length of the wire, pulling it out, and you can do it that way, but it's not always the best use of your time. You can still get quite a bit of wire, as you've seen from the piles that I have, just by doing it this easier, quicker way. Anyway, so in this spot on the wall where you've made your paths in the drywall with your hammers, you're just going to find the furthest point of the wire, just the furthest point that you can really get a hold of. And you're just going to take your snips in there, get a hold of it, take your hand away, and snip down. Like I said, sometimes you can get it with one hand, sometimes you'd have to put two hands on it and just get that wire snipped all the way through. Okay, so anyway, once you have your wire pulled out of the walls, it should look like this. This is what it should look like. And what you're going to want to do is just straighten it out. You just want to get it nice and straight and no curves in it. Like curves like this way, if that makes any sense. Because you're going to be wanting to run along a straight line. Like that. And one thing I forgot to mention before, this is another tool that you're going to need. Not for the pulling process, but for the stripping process. This is a cobalt. I like this because it just gives you really strong grip for, really being able to torque on something. And as well, you can replace the blades. And, they're razor blades, so it's really as sharp as you can get. Pocket knife is good too, but I like to use this. Okay, so once you get it like that, nice and straightened out, you're going to want to start at one end, kind of close to one end, and you're just going to want to put your knife right in the middle, or as close to the middle as you can get on this flat part. And you're going to want to just kind of cut down the wire. And I'm sure this doesn't even really need to be said, but always cut away from you. Never cut towards you, even if you're trying to just, get something done really fast or whatever the reason is. Believe me, I've done it, and I've cut myself. I have cut the shit out of myself many times before by trying to cut, like literally cut corners. And then you're going to want to kind of flip it around. So again, you're cutting away from yourself, and you're going to start at the point where you started before, except now you have something to hold on to, and you can get down the rest of the way of the wire. Sleeve of the wire. Then you're just going to want to kind of pull the wire apart. I got my pile right there of wire that's ready for the next step of stripping. You got your trash can. And we're back. for the next step of stripping, and it's pretty much the final step. When you take off the sleeve of a wire, what I found is most of the time you're going to have 3 pieces of wire. This is done. You can just go ahead and throw that right into your pile, but for the sake of this video I'm going to keep it out. But this one and this one, it needs a little more work to get to the actual copper wire that's inside. So, very similar to the last process of taking off the sleeve, you're going to want to start close to one of the ends, cutting away from yourself. You're going to just want to go down the line and just strip the wire off, just like that. Nice and easy. Don't press down too hard because copper is soft, and if you press down too hard, the blade will actually dig into the copper and your blade will just get stuck. Okay, then you're going to flip it around again, get a nice good grip on it, and get your knife on there where you left off. And for really long pieces, this helps just to put a foot on the end of the wire, get it nice and taut, and that makes it easy. Straighter, and the more taut you can get the piece of wire, the easier it's going to be for you to get all the casing off. Slip over the end piece right there, and you're just going to peel it down. It should come right off without a hitch. It's okay sometimes if you miss little pieces as you're going down, because when you're pulling it, I mean, it's going to just rip. So it doesn't have to be perfect as you're stripping the casing off. Like I said, you really only need to step on the wire to make it easier for yourself. If you got a really super long piece, you're going to want to do the same thing. Start close to one of the ends. Then I would take them all like I'm doing now and line them up so that they're all at the same length on one end. Take it, hold it like that, and then you just want to kind of just bend it lightly around your hand. Don't pull too tight, or don't pull too hard and pull it too tight, or you're going to get it stuck on your hand. So you get it like that, so you can slip your fingers right back out. You have it like that. Then, once you slip your fingers back out, keep holding it here and get a good grip on it like that, and then just press down nice and firm. And it's going to make this kind of coily thing. And if you want to, just so you don't cut yourself by accident, you can fold these over and just kind of tuck them into the middle of it. That way there's no sharp things sticking out the side, okay? So then you're just going to take this, I got my bucket down here, you're just going to drop it right in your bucket. And I got another bucket downstairs that's just full to the brim, so I got this new one up here now. Okay. There you have it. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff. Nice little hobby that I enjoy doing in my free time, and you can actually make a little bit of extra money from doing it. So, you know, I know not everybody would enjoy it, but I enjoy doing it. So it's kind of like a bonus that you can make a little extra money from trading it in. So, I'm just gonna clean it up there. So anyway, that's about it. So that's it. I was just kind of stripping this wire down and decided to make a video on it because kind of just picked it up by chance. So I'm sure there's some people out there that don't know about it. And it's a hobby of mine that I really enjoy doing. I find it like therapeutic and peaceful, and just kind of just gives me a chance to do something with my hands, and kind of be quiet and still and think and reflect on things or whatever. And you can make a little extra cash, like I said before. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and leave any questions or comments right down below in the comments section. That's what it's there for. I would love to hear from whoever. I would love to hear from you guys, just about anything, and I will get back to you. I had fun making this video. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye-bye. You're gonna wear, Jesus fucking Christ. In addition to your gloves, you also want to make sure that your tools have rubber grip. Rubber fucking grips. What the fuck is a grip? Oh God. It's a fucking morning. I can't fucking speak. So bear with me here. In addition, because electricity is it's not fun, it's just scary. It's really scary. Have you ever seen any of those ARC videos? No, I'm not going to go into that. That's disgusting and dark. Electricity, let's just put it like this. For cutting the wire from the outlets, I don't know why am I pointing? No one can fucking see what I'm pointing at.